I refused to let my neighbor's kids use my home office to do homework with better Wi-Fi. That night, I heard scratching in the attic. When I went up, I found a sleeping bag, candy wrappers, and a cracked tablet playing my personal videos. I asked my neighbor, and she just smiled, "They're curious kids." But when I checked the tablet's history, one video was still uploading, and it showed. I live in Springdale, Arkansas. It's not a big city, but it's not tiny either. Just a regular town where people mow their lawns on Saturdays and wave at each other from across the street. I bought my house 4 years ago after my divorce. It's a modest 2-story with a finished attic and a small yard. Nothing fancy. But it's mine. I work from home in marketing. My job's mostly online, lots of Zoom calls, screen recordings, strategy docs, that kind of thing. My home office is the most important part of the house. I spent months getting it right. 2 standing desks. Dual monitors on one side, a laptop dock on the other. High-speed fiber wired directly in. No kids, no pets, no chaos. Just quiet and control. My neighbor, Sarah, moved in about a year ago with her 2 boys. One's about 13, the other maybe 10. At first, things were fine. I said hi, kept my distance. The usual. But then she started showing up at my door. Small talk at first. Asking for recommendations, borrowing stuff, little things. Then one Thursday afternoon, she knocked with a weird smile. "Hey," she said. "Sorry to bother. This is kind of random, but my kids have some online homework stuff to finish, and our internet is garbage right now. Could they use your Wi-Fi for a bit?" I thought she meant the porch or maybe sitting near the garage. I said, "I guess. Just for a few minutes, right?" Then she added, "I mean, in your office, ideally. It's just easier for them. I can drop off snacks." I almost laughed, thinking she was joking. But she wasn't. "I'm working during that time," I said. "That space is private." She blinked. "But they're just kids." "Exactly," I said. "And I can't have kids around my equipment." "Sorry." Her face shifted. Still smiling, but tight. "Okay. Well, it doesn't hurt to ask." I closed the door thinking that was the end of it. I felt weird after, though. Like I'd missed something. That night, I was up late working on a client deck. Around 1:30 a.m., I heard something above me. A soft thump. Then scratching. Very light, like something dragging across wood. At first, I thought it was an animal. Raccoons sometimes find their way in. But it kept going. It was subtle, but steady. I grabbed my flashlight and pulled down the attic ladder. The second I climbed up, I smelled it. Stale air, sweat, candy. Then I saw it. In the far corner, behind some boxes, a rolled-out sleeping bag. An empty soda can. Wrappers from candy and chips. Crumbs everywhere. And a tablet, cheap, screen cracked. Lying there, still playing a video. At first, I didn't register what it was. Then I looked closer. The video was of me. At my desk. On a Zoom call. My face on one side of the screen, a client presentation on the other. It was a screen recording. From an angle that couldn't be from a webcam. It was from above. I picked up the tablet. It was warm. It was uploading something, office footage 001.mov. I clicked out and saw a history list of at least a dozen files. Most were video clips. One had a title like, "He picks his nose then talks to boss." Another said, "Weird guy watches TV while eating alone." All of them were me. I couldn't breathe for a second. My whole body locked up. Someone had been spying on me. Recording me from the attic. Watching everything I did in my office. And worse, they were trying to upload it. The next morning, I walked straight to Sarah's front door. She answered with her usual fake cheer, sipping coffee in a mom mode hoodie. "Hey, what's up?" she said. I didn't smile. "Your kids have been in my attic." She didn't even blink. "Excuse me?" "There's a sleeping bag, trash, and a tablet up there. It's full of recordings of me. Working. Eating. Even changing clothes." She took another sip of coffee and shrugged. "They're curious kids. You said no to letting them use your internet. Maybe they wanted to get creative." I just stood there, staring. She didn't deny it. She didn't even look surprised. "They're 13 and 10, I said. They broke into my house. That's not creative. That's illegal." She smiled again. "Come on. Don't make a big deal. You seem like someone who's private." "I get it. But kids will be kids." That line. Kids will be kids. I left before I did something stupid. Called the cops. Told them everything. They came out, looked around, took photos, asked some questions. But when they went to talk to Sarah, she said her boys were with her every night. That I had no proof they were ever in my attic. They were right. I didn't have video of them climbing up. And the tablet wasn't linked to anyone's name. They said they'd file a report, but nothing more. That's when I asked around the neighborhood. 2 houses down, a couple has a Ring doorbell camera. I asked if they'd check footage from the past few nights. They did. Sure enough, one clip showed Sarah's older son climbing over my backyard fence at 12:42 a.m. I brought it to the police. They came back to have another word with her. But again, no charges. Just a warning. That same night, I came home to find dog crap smeared across my doormat. The next morning, my car tires were flat. All 4 of them. Slashed. I installed cameras the next day. Inside. Outside. Even one in the attic. I put a bolt on the attic entrance from below. A week later, a package from Amazon went missing. I found it a few days later, ripped open and soaking wet in the bushes near her side of the fence. It wasn't just the kids. I knew that now. I checked the tablet again. Dug into the browser history, download folders, hidden caches. What I found made my stomach drop. The videos weren't just being uploaded randomly. They were all going to a shared Google Drive connected to a burner YouTube channel. The channel had dozens of videos, spying on neighbors, people walking by, random clips of strangers, and at least 14 videos that were clearly of me. My face. My home. My personal stuff. Some of the clips had titles like "Creepy Home Office Guy Does This Alone," or "He Doesn't Know We're Watching." One had over 60,000 views. Another had ads running on it. Meaning someone was monetizing this. I saw comments too. Laughing at me. Calling me a loser. A freak. Saying this guy needs to get a life. I saw my own face in the thumbnails. My hands shaking, I clicked the About tab on the channel. Nothing there, no name, no contact info. But I checked the linked recovery email through some trick a friend in IT taught me. The backup address had part of a name in it. It was Sarah's. She wasn't just letting her kids spy on me. She was filming me. Uploading me. Making money off my life. My private moments. She knew what she was doing. And I decided I was going to end it. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in my office, lights off, watching my own camera feeds on the second monitor. Every shadow made me tense. Every noise made me flinch. I kept looking up at the attic door, even though I'd bolted it. The next morning, I made a decision. I wasn't going to the police again. They had already proven they wouldn't do anything unless someone got hurt. I needed proof. Real proof. And I needed to expose Sarah. So I set a trap. I created a fake folder on my desktop labeled financials_passwords_2023. Inside, I dropped a decoy file that, if opened, would alert me. I also left a USB drive on the corner of my desk with private written on it in big black letters. Nothing was on it except a tracker script that pinged my laptop when accessed. Then I left. I parked 2 blocks away and watched my security app from my phone. At 1:03 p.m., motion was detected at my back door. At 1:08 p.m., someone disabled the camera outside the attic vent. But they didn't know I had another one hidden in a fake smoke detector inside the attic. And I saw them. Both boys. Climbing down from the attic with flashlights and gloves. They walked straight to my office. 5 minutes later, the alert pinged. They opened the decoy folder. They opened the fake USB. I screen recorded the whole thing. Then I drove straight back, fast. When I pulled up, I walked to Sarah's house and pounded on the door. She opened, pretending to be surprised. "Something wrong?" "I'm calling the cops," I said. "Your kid's just broken again. I've got it all on camera." Her smile twitched. "Are you sure it was them? Sounds like you're obsessed with us." That's when I saw him. A man standing behind her in the hallway. Late 30s, maybe early 40s. Beard, trucker hat, a long scar on his left cheek. I'd never seen him before. He stared at me, arms crossed, not saying a word. She noticed me looking. "This is Brent," she said. "My cousin. He's visiting for a while." Brent didn't look like someone passing through. He looked like someone guarding a door. I went home and uploaded everything to a USB of my own. Then I backed it up in the cloud. Sent a copy to my old college friend who's now a lawyer in Little Rock. But that night, things got worse. Way worse. Around 2 a.m., I heard a loud crash downstairs. I jumped up, heart racing, and grabbed my bat. When I got down, the back door was wide open. The lock had been busted clean off. My office door was wide open too. Nothing was taken. But my computer had been unplugged. My router was missing. My external hard drives were gone. They weren't trying to steal. They were trying to erase. I called the police again. This time they took it more seriously. Breaking and entering. Property damage. Possible tampering with personal data. They questioned Sarah and her boys again, and guess what she said? "That guy's been obsessed with us since we moved in. He watches us. He's always home. Always filming." I couldn't believe it. She flipped the whole thing. And when the cop came back to me, he said something I'll never forget. "She's saying she feels threatened by you. That you've been spying on her kids." Is there any reason she'd say that? My throat went dry. She was setting me up. And that's when I realized this wasn't just about spying or YouTube clips anymore. Sarah wanted me gone. For good. After that night, I stopped feeling safe in my own home. I didn't sleep. I barely ate. Every time I heard a noise, I flinched. I was constantly checking my phone, my cameras, watching shadows move across my lawn. I even started carrying a pocket knife with me around the house. The next twist came 3 days later. I was at the hardware store getting a new deadbolt for the back door. My phone buzzed, motion alert from my front yard camera. I checked the live feed. It was Sarah. In broad daylight. Wearing sunglasses and a hoodie. Walking up to my house holding an envelope. She looked right at the camera and smiled. Then she slid the envelope under my front door and walked away. I drove straight home and grabbed it. Inside were 3 printed screenshots, frames taken from the videos they'd filmed of me. One of me in my boxers while stretching at my desk. One of me scratching my butt while on a Zoom call. And this one made my skin crawl. It was from the gym camera I use for virtual workouts. It showed me doing squats in the garage, sweaty and out of breath. At the bottom was a typed message. You call the cops again, we make you famous. Stay quiet. Stay invisible. No signature. No return address. Just that. I felt sick. I showed it to the police. They said there was no direct threat, that it could be from anyone. They asked if I wanted to file a harassment report, but I could tell they didn't believe how serious this was. I was just the weird guy working from home to them now. That same week, I lost a client. One I'd been working with for over a year. Their email was short and cold, we're ending the contract. We've been made aware of some concerns. Best of luck. I reached out. Asked what the hell they meant. Their admin assistant messaged me back, off the record. Someone sent an anonymous link to videos of you. Said you were unstable. Unprofessional. Weird. I felt like I was falling through the floor. They were sending the videos. Not just online, but to people in my life. Targeting my job. My reputation. Quietly poisoning everything I'd built. That's when I called my lawyer friend. He told me something that changed everything. If they're making money off your image, and you didn't consent, it's a civil and possibly criminal issue. Especially if there's peeping, break-ins, or blackmail. But you need undeniable proof. Something that shows her involvement clearly. So I came up with a plan. I created a fake online persona, someone lonely, curious, and into neighbor spy videos. I started commenting on the YouTube channel. I got replies. I acted like a fan. Eventually, they DM'd me. The account said their name was Skylar. No photo. Just a username, behind the blinds. They were cocky. Said they filmed local weirdos for fun and profit. I played along. Asked where the videos came from. They bragged about a hot single mom and her kids who knew how to get into houses without a trace. That was it. The message was all I needed. I traced the IP address with help from another old college buddy, IT guy who owed me a favor. The IP came back to an account linked to Sarah's address. Not exact, but close enough to matter. But I didn't act right away. I wanted more. So I baited Skylar into meeting in person. Said I had a private stash of weird neighbor footage I wanted to trade. We agreed on a location, abandoned lot behind an old church near downtown Springdale. I waited. Hid my phone, recording everything. She showed up. Sarah. No disguise this time. Wearing jeans, a black jacket, and sunglasses on top of her head. She looked calm. Confident. Thought you'd be older, she said. I smiled. Thought you'd be smarter. Then I stepped aside, and two plainclothes officers walked up behind her. She froze. One pulled out a badge. Sarah Whitman? You're under arrest for unlawful surveillance, criminal trespass, possession of voyeuristic material, and attempted blackmail. She didn't say a word. Just stared at me like she couldn't believe it. The kids weren't with her. Brent wasn't either. They cuffed her and took her away. But it wasn't over. Not yet. Because the next morning, I found something that made my blood run cold. Taped to my mailbox was a note written in sloppy black Sharpie, "You made a mistake. Now we finish what she started." No name. No signature. Just that. After Sarah was arrested, I thought I could finally breathe. I was wrong. The note on my mailbox wasn't just a threat, it was a promise. And I had no idea who it came from. At first, I thought maybe her kids were behind it, trying to scare me. But deep down, I knew it had to be Brent. That man barely said a word, but the way he looked at me from her hallway, it was like he was memorizing my face. I called the police and gave them the note. They logged it, took a photo, and said they'd keep an eye out. I wasn't comforted. I started checking over my shoulder every time I left the house. 3 nights later, it all came to a head. It was just past midnight. I was finally asleep after days of insomnia when a loud crash jerked me awake. The sound of glass shattering. I grabbed my bat and rushed downstairs. The back patio door was busted in. Glass everywhere. My cameras were still working, whoever it was didn't know where to look this time. I pulled up the feed on my phone and saw him. Brent. He was inside my house. Heavy boots. Gloves. A crowbar in his right hand. I locked myself in the upstairs bathroom and called 911. While I waited, I watched him on my phone as he walked through my house like he owned it, checking drawers, kicking over my desk chair, smashing one of my monitors. Then he picked up a bottle of lighter fluid from under the kitchen sink. I didn't even know I had that. He started pouring it on the floor. I was shaking. My hands, my chest, everything. But I stayed quiet. Still locked in that bathroom. Praying. The police got there in under 5 minutes. I heard them yelling. I heard a struggle. Then silence. When I came downstairs, Brent was face down on the floor in cuffs, screaming that I had ruined his family. Turns out, Sarah and Brent had a full system going. They'd done this before in 2 other towns. Moved into quiet neighborhoods, used the kids to sneak into homes through attics or windows, installed cheap cameras, and sold videos on the dark web and to shady YouTube channels under fake names. Sarah was the planner. Brent was the enforcer. And the kids, well, they were part of it. But they were tools, not leaders. The police found over 200 videos in total. Not just of me, but other people. Women, men, even an elderly couple that lived 2 blocks over. All secretly recorded. When the news broke, the neighborhood exploded. Sarah and Brent were all over local media. Mugshots. Full stories. People were pissed. Disgusted. She tried to fight the charges at first. Claimed I was obsessed with her. That I made it all up. But the messages, the fake accounts, and the IP address tracing buried her. Brent ended up with the harsher sentence: breaking and entering, attempted arson, conspiracy to distribute illicit recordings. He got 18 years. Sarah got 12. Her kids were taken by the state. I heard they were placed in foster care outside the city. I don't know what'll happen to them, but I hope they get help. Real help. They were just pawns in something sick. But here's where it gets satisfying. Remember the YouTube channel? It had been monetized for almost a year. Every dollar earned from it was tracked back to Sarah's personal PayPal and a hidden crypto wallet she used through Brent. The state seized it all. And I filed a civil suit. My lawyer came down hard with a privacy violation lawsuit backed by the video evidence, the blackmail note, and police reports. I won. Big. The court awarded me $2.1 million in damages. They seized Sarah's car, her bank accounts, and even part of her family's estate in Mississippi. I don't know who they had to call to get that done, but they did it. I used the money to move. I sold the house at a loss. I didn't care. I just wanted out. I bought a place outside Fayetteville, quiet, with no neighbors for half a mile in any direction. And now, I work behind a VPN, with blackout curtains, and no attic access at all. I see a therapist every Tuesday. Not just for the stress and fear, but the rage. I could have gone down for all of it. If they had framed me right, I'd be the one in jail. They almost erased me. And the truth is, I'll never fully trust anyone again. But I got my justice. They messed with the wrong person. They thought I'd just take it. They thought I'd stay quiet. They thought wrong.